Let's get back onto the river, shall we? Just recalling where we last left off. Alright, this is only save file on this chapter. Okay. I believe we just got summoned to court. Let's move right along, shall we? Let's reflect, first and foremost. The rice cake is back. Someone came in and cleaned the crime scene after the dumpling delivery. We found the coat in Co-Owl, which I feel like is co-author, but right, so we found the coat belt, Lope's coat belt, and some rice cake stuff stained with blood in the bottom of the well. Did we actually find Lope's coat? Something was hanging. Oh, that's neat. Our little profile pictures change depending on the outfit we're wearing. That's cool. Poor Soldier Chen. Very tired. Ooh, Chin Quan. Oh, that's right. Most famous court in the Jiangsu region with extensive experience. Alright, it's been a while, so we are reacclimating ourselves with what exactly is going on here. We have Shi Wen, who was arrested for murdering Lo Pei. We discovered Liu Picheng in Shi Wen's wardrobe. Picked up this bamboo. Judge Sheng planned to gift an oxtail sword. That feels close. Mr. Cow requested adding a rolling axe to the rolling pin to make dough rolling easier. Not this dagger, Lope's dagger, which killed him. Ma brought his arm guards for improvement. Chungta suggested adding vertical straps. Improved hoe. But the only thing that seems spaced remotely close enough are the arm guards and the copper rings on the oxtail sword. And that seal is supposedly what shows up on the letter there. And that letter, if we're interpreting it right, as well as the argument that she supposedly had with Lo Pei, means that Lo Pei was stealing his nephew's ideas. I keep wanting to say brother for some reason, but no. Nephew. Shi Wen is much younger than Lo Pei. Alright. Oh, Mr. Shen, I was just looking for you. A lord has asked to go to the court. What's up? Someone has come and banged the drum, saying he has seen the murderer. Wow, is it true? Who is this person that reported it? I don't know. I'm only responsible for running errands. Since that's the case, let's go together and see what's happening. The courtroom. Since Mr. Shen is also here, let's begin. All on the silence. Ooh. Bring in the person who beat the drum. You? Excuse me, sir, what's your name, and why did you beat the drum? Your Honor, my name is Chow Chin. I heard about the murder in Lowe's home, and it reminded me that I had witnessed the crime. I'm here to identify the murderer. Oh, wait, we got more people down here. Child, Cao Tian. You accusing young heir? That's why he's tied up in here? Oh. Did you really witness the murder with your own eyes? Indeed, I did. Then tell me everything you know in detail. Okay. Testimony. The old scholar witnessed. Exam results come out today. Went to wait near the announcement wall early in the morning. The day the Imperial examination results are released. Yes, today's the day the candidate examination results are announced. How could you witness the murder in Lowe's house if you went to see the announcement? Your Honor, Lowe's house is not far from the announcement wall. Oh, go ahead. I was walking around for some exercise when I suddenly saw the man leaving Lowe's house. He was in a hurry and forgot to lock the door. I looked over curiously, only to glimpse a dead body inside. Strange and horrible. I was scared and didn't look or say anything more until Your Honor asked me. After that, I stayed nearby till the results were released, but saw no one else enter or leave. Who was the person that walked out of Lowe's house? Do you still remember? I remember he has a snake's head and rat's eyes. He doesn't seem like a good person. Come here and identify. Is this the person you saw? Yes, it's him. It's him. When I saw that food box, I guessed it must be young heir. This guy has a criminal record of theft. He once stole things from Master Lo. It was right to detain him in advance. Oh, Officer Ma. Judge Chang, I'm really wronged. Everyone knows that I am most warm-hearted, helpful, and chivalrous. How could I kill someone? How dare you talk back, you thief. Come on, men. Prepare for severe punishment. Wait a minute. Mr. Cho's testimony alone is insufficient to establish Yang Heir as a murderer. It's you again! I've been here the whole time, Officer Ma. Mr. Cho saw it with his own eyes. How could it be false? It's rare to find someone like Mr. Cho who is willing to speak out for justice, however. Some of his testimony seems to be inconsistent with the on-site situation. I wonder what Mr. Shen has to say. Judge Cheng, I wish to cross-examine Mr. Cho. What do you mean by cross-examine? I will review Mr. Cho's words, sentence by sentence, and question any problematic statements. Then I will compare the questionable testimony with the collected evidence. If I find evidence that contradicts the testimony, I will present it to you for examination. Let's begin immediately, then. Inquiry. Oh, shit. Actual cross-examination mechanics. Heck yeah. Hold it. Oh, wait, no, okay. Now, if what he saw was true, it is highly possible that she was just out in the open. Young heir arrived, just sort of left the dumplings behind and fled in a panic. And then someone else came along afterwards and cleaned the scene. Because there is evidence that the scene was cleaned after the dumplings arrived. Here's proof. Sir, you mentioned you saw someone dead inside the house when the suspect left Lowe's house. However, the body was found inside this wardrobe. At the time, the wardrobe was locked. How could you possibly see a body inside the house? Could it be that Mr. Cho saw the scene in the house right after the killer committed the crime? No. Because Miss Liu was killed around midnight. And Mr. Cho didn't arrive near Lowe's house until after daybreak. Mr. Shen, is the time of death you mentioned accurate? This is my preliminary analysis based on the body's characteristics. Auntie Vu, our coroner, is currently conducting the autopsy. No conclusion has been reached yet. You dare to tell the time of death just by glancing at the body? Indeed, the time of death relies on the coroner's further assessment. That doesn't affect my inference. Mr. Cho said he looked over curiously because someone left Lowe's house without locking the door. He also mentioned no one entered or left Lowe's house after the suspect left. That is indeed the case. How did the body end up locked inside the wardrobe? Sir, did you fabricate this story about seeing the body? Although I have not personally witnessed it, I believe that to be the case. This is a matter of life and death. How can you take it for granted? Alas. But nevertheless, Mr. Cho did see young heir sneaking out of Lo Shiwen's house. Yes or no? I have made a hasty judgment about the matter of the body. However, the person I saw was indeed young heir, without a doubt. Mr. Cho, how can you be certain that the person leaving Lo's house was none other than young heir? I had a close encounter with this person, and his peculiar attire made a deep impression on me. In what way was his attire peculiar? He wore a white turban, held a rod, and carried a box. He didn't look like a good person. Have you seen anyone else coming in or out of Lo's house? It seems there's nobody else. Seems. Yeah, I can't recall clearly. I'm afraid more words means more mistakes. Please allow me to think it over. Well, then go think about it for a while. Lord, at present we cannot rule out the suspicion on young heir. It's possible he entered the scene twice, once to commit the murder and once to hide the body. Mr. Shen, what do you think? It could be advisable to question young heir first and see what he has to say. All right, let's proceed to question young heir then. Young man, we have questions for you. Yes, I'm sitting right here. Sir, feel free to ask. I will certainly speak to whatever I know. Were you the one who delivered the steamed buns to Lo Shiwen's house this morning? Yes, it was me who delivered them. Who in the neighborhood doesn't know that I am most warm-hearted, helpful, and chivalrous? Don't talk nonsense. Old Cho accuses you of murder and hiding the body. What do you have to say about it? I am being wrongly accused, sir. I'm a well-behaved person. I've never killed a living creature, let alone a human being. Mr. Cho saw you coming out of Lo Shiwen's house. How do you explain that? You must have mistaken me for someone else. Young heir, what did you do this morning? Come clean and tell the truth. Yes. Alright. After leaving Lopez's house, I quickly returned to my shop. I still got scolded by my boss Cal because I failed to deliver the morning orders. Then I had to rush to deliver the orders as quickly as possible, without stopping for a moment. By the time I delivered the order to Lo Shi-wen, I had already caught up with the schedule. You saw Lo Shi-wen being arrested in the morning. Why did you still deliver the buns? If the customer orders, no matter whether he eats it or not, I have to deliver it, right? Understood. Please, go ahead. I knocked on the door of Lo Shi-wen's house for quite a while, but there was no response. I intended to leave the food box at the doorstep, but the door opened easily with a gentle push. I knew the buns would be stolen by a dog and Mr. Cow would scold me again, so I went inside. I placed the food box on a small table by the door, then hurried to the next customer. Was there anyone inside the house at the time? There was not anyone inside the house at all. That's a full pause. When you first entered the house, did you notice anything unusual? Unusual? It seemed like there was nothing unusual when I entered the house. That's strange. You shouldn't have overlooked something like that. Young heir, what else did you do after entering the house and placing the food box? On placing the box, I returned empty-handed. I had other orders and couldn't afford any delays. Maybe Mr. Cho happened to see me when I came out, misunderstood me. Mr. Shen, what do you think? The 6 statements made by young heir in his testimony contradict one of Mr. Cho's statements. Oh? No response. Oh, that's right. Lopez's jacket was burned. I don't know what to make of that. Oops. I'm gonna try this. Oh, hey, hello. Leaving. Alright, food box on a small table next to the door. White turban, held a rod, carried a box. Held a rod? Young heir doesn't have a rod. I should have tried that before I paused to think. Young heir, aren't you aware of your own situation yet? Why did you lie? I didn't. Mr. Cho saw you coming out of Lo Shi-wen's house with a rod in your hand. What was that? There was nothing. There used to be a painting hanging on the wall of Lo Shi-wen's house, but now it's gone. You took it, didn't you? Kind of a presumptuous accusation, but then again, considering young heir was doing a delivery, while knowing that Lo Shiwen was actively under arrest. Not unreasonable. After entering Lo's house and confirming there's no one inside, you had the intention to steal. You took away the painting on the wall and the valuable porcelain items from the house. You have a history of theft, so this kind of opportunistic act might not be your first time. And the rod Mr. Cho saw was actually a rolled-up painting. I told you so. This guy's thieving nature never changes. How dare you repeatedly lie in the courtroom? Did you kill Miss Liu? Please forgive me, sir. Oh, please forgive me, sir. I was greedy for money and was momentarily blinded by greed, but I really didn't kill anyone. That painting was not taken down by me. When I entered, it was already on the table. Oh no, the painting is the murder weapon. Bold villain, if you do not speak the truth any longer, caning punishment will be served. I realized my mistake. I really realized my mistake. Apart from not mentioning the act of theft earlier, everything else I said is true. I promise. I'll return the stolen items at once, right away, immediately. Officer Ma, gather a team and go with young heir to see what he has taken from the house. Yes. The painting rolled up. It's very likely the murder weapon. Mr. Shen, if young heir is indeed guilty of theft only, then how should we go ahead with the murder trial? Afraid we'll have to go back to Mr. Cho's testimony. What do you have in mind? When Afu and I were investigating the scene, we found footprints had been cleaned up. Could be young heir, or there might be others who have been in and out after him. Mr. Cho stayed near Lo's house throughout the entire morning. Mr. Cho, how is your memory recall going? My lords, I feel dizzy and faint after so long. Could I have some more time, please? All right, then. Let's take a break and continue the trial later. Dog! Dog! Shen! A dog's eating steam buns! Oh no! There he goes. Dog! Good boy. What a cute dog. Dog! Uh-oh. Shen is not good with dogs. Fair enough. These swords on the rack look quite impressive. Oxtail swords. These are standard issue equipment for court officials. The oxtail sword, a standard weapon issued to officials and constables during the late Qing dynasty, was named for its resemblance to an ox's tail when the blade is positioned upwards. The sword features a thin blade, is light to handle and easy to carry, making it suitable for official duties. Shen, is Lo Shiwen being held in this room? Wonder if he is woken up, or not. Lo Shiwen is implicated in 2 murder cases. We must find a chance to talk to him. The door is locked. Shall I break the door open? No, Afu. This is the courtroom. So? Afu's thinking. Let's go and check elsewhere first. Dog. Oh, hey, the corner. Be good, dog. Dog. Aloof canine. How cute. Yeah. No such luck. Water fire stick. There are several red and black rods inserted on this shelf. The rods don't have any grooves on them, so it seems they're not the murder weapon. They are water fire rods. In the courtroom, if the suspect refuses to confess, they may be taken to the yard to be whipped. Oh! Such a thick rod. It would surely be painful to be whipped with it, wouldn't it? After dozens of lashes, the skin would split open, flesh torn, and blood splattered. Such severe beating. One would surely confess to everything and have no strength to refute. What if it turns out to be a mistake in the end? What should be done then? Forcing confessions through torture has led to numerous wrongful convictions throughout history. The case of Yangtze River in Shanghai over a few decades ago was just an example. Indeed, such practices are far too arbitrary and unjust. Precisely because of this, we must value evidence and uncover the truth through it. Water fire rod, ooh. A stick-shaped weapon used by government officials in ancient times. It's a warning and punishment tool, about 160 centimeters long and half black and half red. Black represents the color of water in the 5 elements, often used to symbolize the justice of the law. Red represents the color of fire in the 5 elements, suddenly symbolizing punishment as severe as fire. Yangtze River and Shanghai is one of the 4 major extraordinary cases of the late Qing dynasty. A civilian named Gay died suddenly from was a bacterial infection. And his wife, Zhao Baikai, was falsely accused by Gay's mother of conspiring with scholar Yangtze River to poison Gay. The authorities hastily conducted a post-mortem examination and coerced confessions, while the Yang family members who reported the injustice were also subjected to intentional delays in interrogations. Later continuous coverage by Shun Pao drew attention from both the court and the public. For exhuming the body and conducting a thorough investigation, the case was overturned, and the related officials were demoted or dismissed. This case is the most concentrated and comprehensive embodiment of the Qing dynasty's legal system. All topics related to the study of Qing law can be examined in detail through this case. Gay's mother accused Zhao Baikai and Yangtze River of poisoning Gay. The authorities conducted an examination that confirmed this, I presume. Coerced confessions out of them both. Essentially, the Yang family member, Naiwu's family members, who were thinking, hey, this is wrong, trying to raise objections, were themselves spitballed and shut down. Or worse. And then finally, when enough eyes were on it, they did a proper examination, overturned the... Auntie Vu! Shen, is that Auntie Vu standing on the steps with whom... Is that Auntie Vu standing on the steps whom Officer Ma mentioned? Well, I just met her at Lo Shi Wen's home. I heard from the soldiers that she's a very skilled coroner, but she doesn't look like it. Hey now, don't jump to conclusions. Little brat, do you think my ears are not working? Auntie Vu, now Fu speaks frankly. Please forgive him. Are you the scholar who found the corpse? Nice to meet you, Auntie Vu. I'm Shen Chungping. Very polite. Auntie, has Miss Liu's autopsy been completed? I wonder. You don't know the rules. Are you allowed to inquire about the autopsy? Miss Liu's death is mysterious, and I also want to do my best to help in any way I can. I haven't finished my examination yet. Wait a little longer. When I have the results, I will report to the judge accordingly. A soldier. Has Lo Shiwen woken up? Yes. When the court session began, he woke up. I would like to have a talk with him. Would it be possible to arrange for that? The Lord has instructed if Detective Shen is investigating the case, we should cooperate. Oh, okay. Hey there. I was thinking who was coming. It's the great detective who trapped me here. Are you here to showcase your intelligence to me? I'm here to ask you something. So, you are here to ask me why I killed Lo Pei. My answer is that he brought it upon himself. No, what I want to ask is about Liu Picheng. Who is Liu Picheng? Don't know her. Being very coy. Miss Liu from Golden Words helped Lo Pei publish his books. How is it possible you don't know her? You are talking about Miss Liu. Oh, you not know her full name? You should ask Lo Pei about her. She has nothing to do with me. Oops, I almost forgot. Lo Pei cannot answer any more questions now. Miss Liu's body is in your wardrobe. Who else should we ask but you? There's a reaction. You just wanted to go quietly in the night after killing Lo Pei. She colluded with Lo Pei. They deserved it. Colluded. If I told you, you wouldn't believe it. Ghost in the Well, Bells and Bones, Mysterious Echo, and Swordsman Case. I'm the co-author of these novels. The tricks in those novels are all my own creations. Recently I came up with another trick. Such a brilliant plan. How could Lo Pei not experience it himself? If it weren't for you guys, I would have succeeded. What about Miss Liu? She's the same. She should die. She told me that she would credit my name on all Lo Pei's novels. Last night she came to me, making promises and swearing that she would expose Lo Pei. Alright, what actually happened? Check the newspaper. New book by author Lo Pei, edited by Liu Picheng. Think I'm a fool? And then she even went to cry by the creek. Such a pretentious act. Eh? Why are you silent? Why don't you talk? I see. Great Detective Shen, he couldn't solve the second case and came to me for help. Seeing the furrowed brow on your face, it truly brings joy to me. Guys, how long are you gonna keep chatting? Lo Shiwen, let's see if you'll still be smiling when it's time for your punishment. Officer Ma, we are inquiring about the motive for the crime. Old Cho has recovered well. The Lord appreciates your help and allows you to attend the court. Don't be ungracious. Hurry up and move. Seems like we'll have to go to the court first. Shiwen is not being frank here. Is it a confession what Lo Shiwen said just now? No, I think there's way more to it than that. Lo Pei deceived us. We don't have the newspaper article and testimony, do we? Alright, we'll come back to that. Should we report what he said to the judge? Let's first hear what Mr. Cho has to say before making a decision. Rise to the court. Solemn silence. You will continue investigating the murder case of Liu Picheng. Please tell us again about your experience this morning, Mr. Cho. This time, there must be no mistake. Okay. Here we go again. The results of the candidate exam were to be released today, and I went to wait for them early. During the wait, I strolled around and saw someone coming out of Lowe's house. He wore a white turban, held a rod, and carried a box. He should be Yang Er, the errand runner. After Yang Er left, did you continue to stay near Lo Shiwen's house? Indeed, that's right. I didn't leave until the armed officer arrived to guard the scene. During that time, what did you see? I didn't observe anything unusual during that time. Then the results were announced, and I found that my ticket was missing. I lost interest in all else. Did you see anyone else enter or leave Lo Shiwen's house? I did not see any other person coming in or out. Sir, are you sure you didn't miss anything? I have carefully recalled, and I can confirm that I did not miss anything. Oh, Joe, are you telling the truth this time? I dare not speak falsely. Every statement is true. Mr. Shen, what do you think? Shen, the old scholar's response this time seems to be no different from before. On the contrary, he did mention new information this time. Let's start questioning once again. Oh shit. Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. Cho's testimony contradicts this piece of evidence. Where is this contradiction? Please explain in detail. Problem lies in, Mr. Shen, why did you stop speaking? Shen, did you realize that you made a mistake? I think the biggest problem lies with you two. Please allow me a moment to think. Ow! Alright, let's actually look at the... Let's not make the obvious mistake here. So noon they were released. $7:45 this morning. I mean, I suppose that lines up with you. Oh, I nearly did it again. Oh, okay. Mr. Cho said he saw a soldier come to guard Lo's house before the release of the exam results. However, Soldier Chen said he first went to post the notice, then stood guard at Lo's house. There's a contradiction between the statements of these two. Ah! Old Cho, how dare you deceive me? I am willing to swear upon the sun that not a single word of mine is false.
Huh?
Shen, could it be that the soldier had made a mistake? Mr. Shen, what do you think? Is it ultimately Soldier Shen who made a mistake, or Mr. Cho who made a mistake? Oh, we could say neither. I mean, it could be that Mr. Cho saw someone disguised as a soldier. Maybe neither of them made a mistake. Eh? Is that really the case? Because what they saw was not the same person. It's highly possible that the person Mr. Cho saw was... Was that us? Been a while, I'm trying to remember the right sort of timeline here. Let me think on this. Alright, so checking the timeline, and the house was already closed off and the results were already up when we showed up, so it's not us. And really, the only other person who could be mistaken for a soldier is Officer Ma. The person Mr. Cho saw was you. Officer Ma! Ah? Officer Ma! How can you say that it's me? Mr. Cho saw that the soldier at Lo's house before the release of the examination results. Soldier Chen was posting the notice then. 15 minutes later, he came to guard Lo's house. So it's not him that Mr. Cho saw. Rather, an officer with a sword. Ordinary soldiers carry spears with them on daily duty. Only Officer Ma carries a sword. Speaking of it, we didn't see Officer Ma in the court this morning. Officer Ma, what's going on? Where were you this morning? Uh-oh. I fear they're missing clues in Mr. Lo's case. I'm going to investigate again near his home. I think I was seen by Mr. Cho when I passed by Lo Shiwen's house. You just passed by and didn't enter the house. Old Cho, did you see me enter the house? Yes, totally rational use of authority here. I am not sure. I think you didn't. Lord Officer Old Cho can prove that I didn't enter the house. He said that because you threatened him. Besides, if Officer Ma hadn't entered the house, who would have erased the footprints on the ground? What footprints? Lo Shiwen lived messily and the floor was covered in dust. It's easy to leave footprints. Young heir entered Lo's house but left no footprints on the ground. Also no footprints of others. When shows after young heir left, someone manipulated the scene and wiped away the footprints. Wasn't it obvious enough? The footprints were erased by young heir. If young heir cleaned up the scene, then this item should not have been left behind. If young heir could come up with the idea to clean up the footprints at the scene, then it would be highly unlikely for him to leave this box of steamed buns at the scene. Right, Officer Ma also mentioned before. Suspected it was young heir as soon as I saw that for. Oh, you weren't in the scene with us, you were in the scene some other time. If young heir were to erase his presence in the house, why would he leave such clear evidence? Such a foolish act is not something just anyone can do. Young heir might be an exception. Yep, young heir tends to focus on starting tasks rather than finishing them. Ooh, harsh. But how did he suddenly come up with the idea to clean up the footprints on the ground? Lord, I guess that young heir was commissioned by Lo Shiwen to help him clean up the scene. However, he was not aware of the body inside the wardrobe. What do you mean by that? Auntie Vu has just helped us confirm the murder weapon. It is the painting that young heir took. What? Summon Auntie Vu to the court immediately. Well, that answers that question. Auntie Vu, Officer Ma said that you believe this scroll painting is the murder weapon. I indeed have this suspicion. How do you explain it? Just compare the scroll with the choke marks on the victim's neck, and you'll see the clues. Ah, yep, alright. A long linear strangulation mark on her neck with 2 evenly distributed vertical marks. Look at this scroll. There are 2 leather straps tied on it. Unless the twist is that there's another match. Which would be quite the twist. These straps match the thickness and spacing of the vertical marks on the strangulation mark. From this perspective, the scroll painting should be the murder weapon, but... But what? The strangulation mark is wider and thicker than the scroll. They do not completely match in this aspect. Oh, okay. We're setting it up. Auntie, is it possible this mark was created by repeated and prolonged compression? After all, the murder wasn't strong enough, and the victim also showed signs of resistance. If we consider that the position of each compression has some deviation, it could make sense. Earlier, Officer Ma mentioned the murderer wasn't strong enough. Can you already identify the murderer? The murderer is Lo Shiwen, as the body was found in his wardrobe. What you think happened does have some logic to it, but... Lord, this is the newspaper found at Lo Shiwen's house. Lo Shiwen, this wicked man, punctured the faces of Master Lo and Miss Liu in this photograph. It is evident how deep his hatred toward the two is. Mr. Shen, how do you view this? I disagree, but I digress. Lo Shiwen may not be the murderer. The problem lies in the time of death. Based on my initial assessment, Miss Liu was killed sometime around midnight. I'd arrived at Lo Pei's house not long before that. Lo Shiwen should have been busy dealing with the crime scene at Lo Pei's house, it seems. Yeah, that grin is concerning. Ha 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 ha. Mr. Shen, do you know about this? Auntie Vu is indeed the most renowned courter in the Jingchu region. You are analyzing the time of death in front of her. Isn't that like bringing coal to Newcastle? Ma Tai Wei, please, don't flatter me. But I am indeed curious to know, what is Mr. Shen's basis for his judgment? I mainly judge by the degree of rigor mortis and the stiffness of the fingers and toe joints. You ignorant laymen only know about rigor mortis. Rigor mortis. Was body temperature measured? Pupils observed? Did liver mortis fade after pressure? Also, the body's state changes aren't isolated. Were environmental factors considered? Ooh! Auntie Vu does know her stuff. May I ask, Auntie Vu, what is your estimation of the time of death? You're gonna come in at before midnight. Between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock today. It's much later than we thought. If you don't consider any special circumstances, we can say it is midnight, as you mentioned. In this particular situation, based on my experience, I set the time 4 hours later. Special circumstances at the scene. You did claim to be a detective and have been to the scene yourself. You did not pay attention to the situation that I mentioned earlier. The evidence of the scene that could affect the determination of the time of death is environmental factors. I understand. The solution to the problem lies in this charcoal brazier. The charcoal brazier made the room hot and stuffy like summer, speeding up the body's decay. Yes, with high ambient temperature, rigor mortis appears earlier and disappears sooner. Conversely, with low ambient temperature, rigor mortis will appear later and disappear later. Due to the summer-like temperature at the scene, we should infer the time of death accordingly. That's why I determined the estimated time of death to actually be 4 hours later. Since the incident happened between 3 and 5, the truth becomes clear at a glance. What's your opinion, Officer Ma? Tell us quickly. Oh boy. It's evident that both Master Lo and Miss Liu were both killed by Lo Shiwen. Last night he first drugged Miss Liu with rice cake, then hid her in his own house. Then he went to Master Lo's house and drugged him as well. Just as he was about to kill Master Lo, Shen's visit caused him to temporarily change his plan. But she was very much alive and free when we arrived, so that's false, that's false. Today at midnight, Lo Shiwen drugged Mr. Shen, killed Master Lo, and set up the crime scene. Around 3, he came home, lit the brazier, burned the blood-stained coat, and tried to kill Miss Liu. But Miss Liu had eaten less of the drugged cake. She woke up midway and resisted his attack. In the end, Lo Shiwen killed Miss Liu with the scroll, but there was not much time left. In order to return to Master Lo's house before young heir, he first hid the body in the wardrobe. Unexpectedly, his trick was exposed by Mr. Shen on the spot. He himself fainted at the scene. As a result, Miss Liu's body was left in the wardrobe until Afu opened it. This is the truth behind the whole case. Shen, what Officer Ma said does make sense. Yes, what Officer Ma said is very true. Mr. Shen, what do you think? Is Lo Shiwen the murderer? No. I did disagree. No, I believe the real murderer is someone else. Oh? I wonder who Mr. Shen thinks is the murderer. Oh, we're thinking. Officer Ma's deduction seems flawless at first hearing. But upon careful consideration, something feels off. As for who the real murderer is... Mr. Shen, Lord is waiting for your answer. If the murderer isn't Lo Shiwen, then who could it be? Give me a straight answer. Murderer. Murderer should be... Oh boy! First, facts. The external temperature is high, rigor mortis occurs early, resolves sooner. Rigor mortis sets in later and resolves later. The stiffness in bodies burned to death is caused by coagulation of proteins due to high temperatures, and it's not rigor mortis. Stiffness in bodies frozen outdoors, in ice, or under artificial freezing conditions is mainly due to freezing, of course. Rigor mortis occurs slowly in environments with high humidity. Interesting. We should save the game first. It's a dog. The one who killed Miss Liu should be. The yellow dog named Hammer in the courtyard. Can a dog kill a person? I understand now. Although Hammer himself cannot commit a crime directly, people can use him to carry it out. Mr. Shen, what do you think? There are indeed records in the book about a demon dog killing people in England. Baskervilles! That's right, if a British dog can do it, a Chinese-ruled dog can definitely do it too. But Hammer can only bite humans. How can he strangle a person to death? He bit a rod-like object, just a bone, and pressed it hard against Miss Lou's neck. It formed a rod-like mark, and the dog's 2 canine teeth would create the 2 vertical marks. Even if Hammer could really kill someone like that, how could the body end up inside the wardrobe? Because there's another real murderer who used Hammer to commit the crime. Judge Shang, I have a way to find the real murderer. Please bring Hammer to the court. Real murderer and the person who fed the bun to Hammer must be the same person. Observing who Hammer is close to, we can determine who the murderer is. What is actually happening? Alright, then bring Hammer here. Huh? Hammer? You've come to the wrong place. Why are you here with me? Quickly go find the person who fed you the bun. That's because the real murderer is you yourself. Your own actions have led to this outcome, and there's nothing I can do. Guards, take them to jail. Zhang Jinping and Nafu were imprisoned for accusing a dog. Every night, Officer Ma would visit the cell with that dog. Worth it. That's amazing. I wonder how many unique outcomes there are here. It's the child. Okay. Can't believe this. Okay, so that's a unique game over secret. This is probably just a generic error problem here. Hi, Officer Ma. It's Officer Ma, the real murderer in this case. Officer Ma? Shen, are you sure you're not kidding? In this courtroom, jesting is not to be taken lightly. It is not a jest. Mr. Shen, I wonder what your reasons are for suspecting this person. Please allow me a moment to think. Mr. Shen, if you believe there are flaws in my deduction, please feel free to point them out. Mr. Shen, I see that you are not quite yourself. Are you feeling unwell? No need to force it, Mr. Shen. Catching the murderer and solving the case is our duty, not yours. Officer Ma's analysis does sound quite reasonable to me. I believe that should be the truth of the case, then. Soldiers, take Mr. Shen enough food for a rest. Wait a minute. Come on, Shen, think. There's one thing I still can't figure out. Officer Ma's analysis suggests Lo Shiwen hired Yang Er to clean up the footprints of the scene. He also had Yang Er remove the murder weapon from his house. But Lo Shiwen fainted after I exposed his scheme, and there was no time to talk with Yang Er. Before that, it was unlikely that he could foresee his being arrested. Something must have gone wrong somewhere. I need to think carefully. All contact leaves traces. The evidence is not non-existent, but instead undiscovered. All objects and all images settle in different locations sequentially. It's so hot in here. These buns have stayed here for 6 hours. Be careful, they might be spoiled. Bunch. Don't worry, Shen. It's not spoiled. It's extremely hot, causing the decomposition of the body to accelerate. However, the steamed buns that have been left for 6 hours did not spoil. Why is it like this? Hello! Do you need me to point you in the right direction? No need. I will handle this case myself. Go ahead then. Tell me. What is the key factor for Officer Ma to be able to confirm that Lo Shiwen is the murderer? Time of death, right? Bonus bonus. During time of death and location of the crime. Time of death is key because when time of death changed, then once time of death changed, then Officer Ma could construct the narrative where Lo Shiwen went right back to his place and did a strangle. Ma's frame of Lo Shiwen hinges on time of death. The case happened as I initially speculated, occurring at midnight. Lo Shiwen has an alibi to prove that he was not present at the scene. What changed the determination of the time of death? The brazier. The brazier was lit later than expected. Of course, it is the charcoal brazier. After considering the brazier, Auntie Vu pushed back the estimated time of death by 4 hours. But the buns not being spoiled are a contradiction to the brazier existing. The brazier burning all night. Can this factor be ruled out? Ruled out? How? The charcoal brazier merely increased the temperature inside the room. The stifling heat inside truly impacted the determination of the time of death. Whether it is the charcoal brazier or the room temperature factor, both are objectively present. There's another variable with the charcoal brazier that you overlooked. When is it lit? Alright. Time. If the heat did not last long enough, the impact of the decomposition rate will be limited. The fact that the meat buns in the food box did not spoil is likely due to this reason. The crucial factor is when the charcoal brazier was ignited. How could we infer this specific time? If I know the charcoal burn rate, I can analyze the ratio of unburned charcoal to ash. Even so, it is still difficult to deduce the exact time when the charcoal brazier was ignited, so we do not know the initial ratio of charcoal to charcoal ash. Stupid. Think about who lit the charcoal brazier. Officer Ma. Maybe Officer Ma. If Officer Ma visited before noon, Officer Ma's claim of just passing by without entering the room is likely a lie. Officer Ma is like a low-pay fanboy and a fan of murder mysteries, so of course that would be a trick he would try. Just a lie. He was the last to go by the scene, and he was also the most likely one to clean up the footprints. If he was the one who lit the charcoal brazier, everything would make sense. Mr. Shen, you're still unwilling to leave. You're suggesting that I should personally request you to leave. Judge Cheng, I have sorted out my thoughts. I wonder if you, Judge Cheng, would be willing to listen to my words. Shen, don't refuse a gift and then demand a punishment. Officer Ma, please calm down for now. I would like to hear Mr. Shen's analysis. Lo Shiwen is not the one who actually killed Miss Liu. Officer Ma is the one who did it. Lord, Shen is slandering me. How can I not be angry? Mr. Shen, please tell me, what is your reason for suspecting Officer Ma? After Mr. Cho left, Officer Ma did indeed enter Lo Shiwen's house. The charcoal brazier in the house was lit by Officer Ma, and he also cleaned up the footprints. What a joke! Why would I have the free time to go into Lo's house to light a brazier? No, your intention was to create a false impression of the time of death. By doing so, you could frame Lo Shiwen for the murder.
Huh?
Shen, I just don't understand. Heating up the charcoal brazier in the room would accelerate the decomposition of the body. If we ignore this, won't we be more likely to assume that the time of death was earlier instead? Shen, you're talking nonsense. Not even able to convince your own assistant. The charcoal burner was specifically lit to mislead this person. Auntie Vu. A charcoal brazier was specifically lit by Officer Ma for Auntie Vu. Ah! For me? Indeed, the person he truly intended to mislead was Auntie Vu. Because she is the most renowned quarter in the Jingchu region. What? What do you mean by that? Auntie Vu has authority, and we rely entirely on her judgment to determine the time of death. Misleading her is equivalent to misleading everyone else. Can you tell me then, where have I been misled? A hot room can speed up the decomposition of a body. Others may overlook it, but Auntie Vu won't. Officer Ma precisely took advantage of this point. Taking Auntie to the scene for the autopsy was actually to expose her to the stifling indoor heat. Wow, it's really hot in this room. Then he used his position as officer to make Auntie believe the room was always in such a state. But in fact, the charcoal brazier was lit by Officer Ma around noon when he entered Lo's house. Afterwards, Officer Ma had Soldier Shen guard the door to ensure that the room would heat up. That time, it was only 2 hours before Fu and I discovered the body. The impact of decomposition was very limited. And all of this was all to mislead Auntie Vu. But the body was indeed discovered by you and Fu first, so how could it be said otherwise? And if Fu and I didn't find the body then, who'd find another reason to take Auntie Vu there? So that's how it is. If the brazier was lit for only 2 hours, the victim should have been killed around midnight. Around midnight, Lo Shiwen was still at Lo Pei's house, unable to be in 2 places at once. Officer Ma, did you really commit the murder? It's a slander. It's all slander. Lord, it was Lo Shiwen who lit the charcoal brazier to burn the blood-stained coat. The fragments of clothes in the charcoal brazier are the evidence. Shen is actually distorting the truth and slandering me. If Lo Shiwen was the one who lit the charcoal brazier, young heir should have felt the stuffiness upon entering the room. But he had no impression of it at all. There was no one inside the room, and I didn't notice anything unusual either. Eh? And the only person who entered the room after young heir was you, Officer Ma. How do you know that young heir wasn't lying? What evidence do you have to claim that I entered the room? Officer Ma's argument makes sense, and young heir's words cannot be entirely trusted. Mr. Shen, do you have any other way to prove that the charcoal brazier was lit by Officer Ma? This piece of evidence can also prove that the room was only stuffy for a short period of time. The buns? Box of steamed buns is the evidence. Good note to end on for now.